What's happening, kids and folks at home? I hope you're all having a great day. And let's be frank. Well, you can be frank. I'll be Danny. A lot's going on. For those of you new here, I talk to you quite a bit because for those of you old who've been watching this channel for God knows, I've been on YouTubeinator for 20 years, you kind of get it. And I'm not a groupthink guy. You'll never hear me tell you that I have a Black Friday sale. I got into the laundromat bit. Yeah, let's talk about laundromats. Why not? I got into this business the wrong way. I had no clue. I'm 54 years old today. I did well with my own international real estate deals without ever having a license back in my late 20s, very early 30s. I was always bold when it came to any money. I came from nothing, sometimes less than nothing. And I wanted the things that come with money. Never really thought about the money or the bank account, even to this day. Thank God for my beautiful wife because she's into the stacks. She's a former stockbroker, real estate agent, insurance agent, and she wants to build numbers. I want to build homes on property and see things and do things and have friends and family and wealth in that way. So we make a perfect couple. You ever know a couple that doesn't know anything about money? Well, it's really bad when they both are terrible with money. It's far, far better when one of them kind of knows and the other one doesn't. But if neither one knows, you're going to watch that couple crash and burn. Hey, it's okay. Salt of the earth, JOB. Wait for that IRS refund check every year. Good for you. That's just not my bag, baby. What we're doing today, making some return calls. We're going to get to your chat. We're going to talk to you. Whatever questions that you have, and it's not my birthday. You misunderstood what I was saying. I was saying, as of today. Let's not argue amongst yourselves. I'll just delete all of your comments, guys. Cut that out. We're not children here. I'm the only child here. All right, that being said, I'm a bit shot out of a cannon because today is Monday. Prior to having a shower, I've closed 3 leases for folks like you. Closed, finished, signed. I'll admit that my channel, the preponderance of it, is entertaining because what you see is edited videos and short videos with kind of knuckleheaded landlords arguing with me. I think that's entertaining. Calling up, okay, it's me, you're gone. Bye-bye. I'm always reading your comments as they roll by, and I don't want kids in here playing games. Because it pulls my mind from you guys and what we're all doing. I mean, this is a one-man band, right? So I don't need it. The guy's just being silly on here, and we don't need it. This is the reality of me, what I do, how I do it for you. I decided back in the day that I wanted to get back into something like my father did. Salt of the earth, working with your hands, brick and mortar. And the true story is in my silly course where I talk about how there was this older dude that used to come in with just under $10,000 worth of cash, ironically, in a laundry basket, almost every day, at least 3 times a week, dollar bills wrapped to the 100. Why was it under 10K? Because he was avoiding a currency transaction report. And we knew he had accounts at other banks because you could see the other dollar bills in the back of his SUV. Hi, Ross. Love you, Ross. Only drink wine with you, Ross. Ross has a few stores in LA, laundromats. When I later came across some money, I wanted to spend that money. I wanted to spend it on a business, right? Your gram passes away and leaves you $500,000. You've got 3 solid choices. Put it in a low interest bearing account. Ooh, pshaw, yuck. Take it to Vegas and put it all on black, or invest in a business that's going to show you returns forever. Now, when I thought about all that, I thought like you are, and you did, and you others on the interwebs are lying to you about, I wanted something that was absentee, turnkey, something that I wouldn't have to work at. Man, did I find out quick that there is no such thing. Because I plunked down $250,000 on a laundromat. Try not to be an idiot. Big mistake. Big mistake. Now, being the person that I am, almost in tears going through taking the coin out, which I was told, it's a 20-minute operation, easy stuff. There was a ring of keys as big as my head. Okay, I'm either going to sell this business to the next sucker or make it better. And it started with that odd physical thing, that key ring. Why did it exist? Why were there so many keys? How come I had to do what this previous idiotic operator did? I didn't. It's the only time I ever shut that store. I closed the doors. I went down to the distributor. I bought a bunch of new coin boxes. See, over the years, this store had been bought and sold God knows how many times. And every key that broke or whatever else happened, they replaced it with another one. I wanted them keyed alike. A few $100s later, I had 3 keys to that store. Change machine, washers, dryers. Isn't that easy? Doesn't that sound easy and simple to you? Every store I would ever take over and every store that my clients like you ever take over, you end up with that big ass key ring. It's telling. It's pointing you in the direction of the previous failed operator's mindset. Well, this is the way it goes. I was sold a bill of goods. I changed almost everything about that store, from firing the paid under the table employees that were threatening my family's future, because you can't be doing anything illegal in any business. Proper way to pay taxes. But really taking and extricating myself from the business. And this is the number, I do consult with people that already own laundries. And the number one thing, obviously, how do we make more money? They never ask how they get their time back. Because almost to an operator, when I go in, and I just published 2 of these videos this month, when I go in and look at their operation, they're asking me about advertising, how they could sell more fucking soap, how they could get more turns per day. And I say, how are you ever going to scale this laundry that's making you $30,000 a month into 10 of them? Let's do the math. There's that word again. The math that's going to make you serious, substantial, generational wealth. Well, you can't do what you're doing in this store with all those others because you and your wife are in here every day. And I want to tell you, when I follow up with these people 12 months later, it's heartbreaking because they don't change anything. They don't understand how any more than they did in the beginning. If I had to put this all in a nutshell on a business card, laundromats are fantastic businesses if you do it right. If there's any part of your day, your week, your month, your year, your generation, when you think, I am not enjoying this. Fix it. Reach out to someone like me who already knows how to fix it. On today's call, we're going to get 2 clients on the phone and call back 2 landlords that have been communicating with us from letters of intent that we sent out. Here's the way this works. You go out and scout laundromats. You call the landlord or have me do it. If for the love of God you're thinking that you're scared shitless and your heart's pounding out of your chest, don't make the call. I'm not a salesman. I'm not here to try to sell anything to the Piggly Wiggly guy, the landlord himself or herself, their third party or management company, or certainly, mostly you. Those of you that know me, again, the louts as I call you, not personal friends like Ross that hang out together, but those of you that know me from the interwebs. I've never tried to sell you anything. I've got folks on here. Someone just made a comment on my YouTubeinator machine that, Danny, I've been following you for years, plural. How do I get started? And I didn't even write back. Next day, someone already wrote, whoever it was, I hope you're here, thanks. If you've been following Danny for years, they pretty much know how to get started. Get an education. More and more, I'm consulting with people, and how do we do that? Okay. More and more, I'm consulting with people who have paid money to others. I only have one question. What did you learn from him or her? Then I hear crickets. There's that word again. Crickets. Every time. Oh, but it was only a few $1,000s. Forget that. Isn't this our society? Isn't this the way we think? Oh, it's not a scam. They didn't lie to me. They just didn't really have anything good to say. Or I was on a 30-minute call for $750 and the guy was driving his car, dropping his kids off at school. Let me run some errands and see how much money I can grab from this individual. Heartbreaking. Then there's me giving and giving and giving to a fault. Danny, I can't believe you emailed me back so quickly. Fuck else. What am I going to do? That leads me to an email that I just received, and it made me think of you guys. Let's see if I can find it. It's not like I have to omit this guy's name because he doesn't have a signature on his email. So I don't know. I could take the email, SnickelFritz19, and I could put it into my system, and I could try to figure out who he is, but who gives a shit? I've already written him back. Danny, are your course on Thursday? I think what he means is bought your course on Thursday and finished it Easter Sunday. That was yesterday. Amazing information. His punctuation is good. Congrats. I can't believe you give all of this away, which is funny to me because he paid a few bucks for it, but thank you. I understand the meaning. I've been looking at buying a laundromat, and thank goodness I found you before I did. I feel like I've already done what I needed to do. None of these people even talk about the most important part like you do, comma, the lease, exclamation point. I have a great job. That makes me laugh because people are using my vernacular, but I'm not ready to do this for the rest of my life. I am very excited to get started, and I definitely know I need you in my corner. How do we move forward with the next step? Question mark. This is funny to me, and it made me think about you, and this is really the impetus for me going live here. If you're seeing the silly course, that's the only place you're going to get information on how to move forward with a consultation with me in order to get this here very phone number, okay? And it's ironic and funny to me that this individual, whomever he or I guess she is, no signature, maybe they're on here and they can comment. Try not to be an idiot. Whoever this individual is, while being educated and entertained by my silly course, they never even saw the funnel that puts you into a potential consultation with me because although I probably invented sales funnels, I don't shove it down your throat. I don't have a team of people that are saying, oh, let's make a business out of consulting. All right, breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. To me, this is very telling because if this guy, gal, he, she, they, them didn't really understand how to see or find the link, that's because I'm not shoving it down your throat. And I'm happy to email you. So I wonder how many of you have seen the course and think, well, what's next? I don't know. I'm going to watch Netflix or, God forbid, foosball. So for the cheap seats, I'm available, Danny@freelaundromat.com. You can email me. If you've got my number, you can text me. But in order to get my number, it's a very simple process. And what do you get? Which people say all the time because they don't read the fat print. I don't do fine print. I'm a complete idiot. Unlike others, I give you my cell phone number for life. My consultations, it comes back to me. Remember? We talked about getting into the laundry business and how you could best do it without a lot of pains in your dick or vagina. I don't want to have to think, well, I spoke to Ed for 28 minutes and I owe him 4 hours. I want to have to think that I spoke to Veronica for 4 hours and I owe her 28 minutes. I don't want to do that. Isn't that crazy? So to me, and many of you, raise your hand, many of you would never, ever, ever consider consulting with someone because of that fine print, because of the fact that it seems like a ripoff or it's fucking preposterous, or what are you going to learn? And you've got to have a notepad ready with questions, right? You don't. With me, it's simple. Got my phone, my only cell phone number, not some secret Batcave number. Not some line that only rings in my office. If you fuckers text me at 3 a.m, my phone goes bing bong and I see it. I'm like, please, in an emergency, dial 911. Is that simple enough? Silly, yes. And for those of you that have seen the silly course, for those of you that are around this journey, don't let another year, month, week go by. It doesn't make any sense to me. When I get the lowdown from folks that I can say, and I'm on the phone every day with people, whether we're calling landlords, doing follow-ups like we're about to do for Reely's Live, or doing an initial consultation call, it's never what people think it's going to be. I'm not going to take the time to read. Once you jump in and say, oh, I'm going to pay Danny to talk, you get my email with my cell phone number. That's all. And a lot of times folks want to write me, here's what I'm all about, and here's this and that, and my kids are this age, and these are the laundries I've scouted. You're going to hear from me, but I didn't read it. We're going to get on the phone. We're going to talk like humans. Again, the spoken word cannot be misunderstood. I could say, try not to be an idiot. I could say that to you and you go, oh, that's funny, Danny. But if I wrote it down in a text, the hell's that supposed to mean? That's the difference. I'm dragging this shit out because I want to talk to you kids, and it takes you a minute normally to get on board with the queries. So let's put some marks across. This is what I do. This is my method. In the top chat right now, if you're on the live. If you're not on the live, you're probably watching an evergreen video of this knucklehead talk, and you're wondering why he's so attractive. Joe says, hi, Danny D. Hello, Joe W. Oakland Mogul says they don't call him Daddy Dan for no reason. He's the man. Well, good. Look at you guys. You're going to make my head swell even bigger than it is. Lee says, Danny, what's up? I emailed you, sir. I know you're busy. I understand. We will talk. I don't know what that means because when you email me, I write back. This guy, It's Me, is fighting with people, so he got banned for the day. 24 hours. You can come back. Just don't be an idiot. There's that word again. What does it mean when you have a laundromat and he has a help wanted sign. He is looking for people to run it and put the new AC in it. A help wanted sign in a laundromat means he's probably trying to pay somebody under the table. Ask yourself, Lee, would you, your wife, your girlfriend, anyone of your ilk respond to a help wanted sign in a laundromat? The answer is probably no. So he is looking for that type of person. And I hate to say it, it's normally an under the table, couple dollars under minimum wage, and the type of person that wants that. Oakland Mogul is thanking me for removing the thorn in our side from the chat. No big deal. Ross is giving us all a ching. Here's to you, Ross, again. Brandon says, time wasted in small things like your keys, I assume he's referring to, add up significantly, especially when you've got 2 stores, 10 stores, 30 stores. You can't deal with it. David Anderson, perhaps. Does it come with an area that people turn in mats to get cleaned? I don't know what you mean. Does what come with? Never mind, answer my own question. Okay, thank you, goodness. Buy the course, says John. Well, thanks for that, John. Where are you putting the few $1,000s? Damn, I don't know what that means. Anybody who saw the course can easily see how to get your number multiple times. Well, okay, I guess, but sometimes not. And again, it's because there's not all kinds of arrows and, I think the fear is, I do have a free newsletter. There's a link in the description on this video and all my 2,000 videos now. And you can click on it and you can sign up for my newsletter. Less and less do people do that. If you get my silly course, you interact with me, we normally put you in the newsletter and you have an opt-out. But anyway, that's free. I give you tons of information. I just linked the newsletter followers to this video so they can see it. So hopefully some of them are in here. And then there's tiers to that. I'm happy to explain whether you've seen the course, whether we've consulted, and everybody I've ever consulted with is in my phone. The fear is that you sign up for a free newsletter, you're going to be bombarded by salesy shit. I don't do that. The fear is you get the course and I'm going to be up your ass to say, the next step is this. I don't do that. So you essentially need to find that next step on your own, whatever makes sense for you. I decided that a long time ago. I didn't want to be that guy. Look for the buzzwords, kids. Thought leaders, Zig Heil. Unbelievable. Especially after over time you communicate with people that actually know these folks. It's bad news. Handyman headquarters. People just see the TikToks. They don't understand the grind of it when you start. Well, yeah, that's a great point to call it TikToks because those are short, sporadic. Again, going back to the type of consultancy and individuals and people, when it's impossible to check up on somebody on TikTok. There is a gal who shall remain nameless who's running around talking about laundromats and how to buy them, and she doesn't own a single one. How do I know? Because people go into these live chats and say, how many stores do you have? And she immediately deletes and blocks them, not by communicating with them or calling them knuckleheads or saying, try not to be an idiot. That saves me from saying, try not to be an idiot. Perfect, flawless impression. Chance says again, your points are to wake people up and go fetch for what they want. Okay. Brian, not sure how long this live has been going, but I definitely need to put back and watch the full thing. Landlords called back. Glad to know someone actually returns call. Haha. It's funny, Brian, because one of the laments of anyone doing this, it's hard to get in touch with these folks. If you do the 98.99% of the work and you find a proper phone number, that's only a third of the battle because now we have to call and get somebody on the phone. And these aren't people trying to sell $1 million listing, ski in, ski out property in Aspen, Colorado. These are folks that work for a slumlord and barely work. So I use that word loosely. There's that word again. Brian is over here singing my praises by the chorus. Persistence and patience is key to the process. Look at that alliteration, buddy. You damn right. Hi, Danny. Tell us about your Corvette. Oh, that's funny. This has got to be somebody that knows me or from back in the day. I don't know. I actually had two. I bought a 2004 Z06, and I'm not a car guy. I don't know anything about these things, but it was yellow on black interior, just a rocket. I only took it to get my hair cut. Like I put like 1,000 miles on it. And then I bought a 2006. I ordered a 2006 black on black on black, the last one that would leave the factory. Again, didn't put any miles on it. I used to drive it to get my hair cut. I'm not really, like a Corvette guy. I was a lot younger then. Very fast. I like to scare people in it. Venom, hey, Danny. Yo, now I'm getting past my little spot. John retracted a message. So basically, what you're saying is there's no way that you can negotiate on a help wanted sign. I'll keep looking. I'm asking. Oh, okay, now I understand. Take the time, guys. If you want to ask me something specific, just let me know what you're doing. Read your question back and see if it makes sense. Now I understand, Lee. You saw a help wanted sign on a laundromat and you want to know, is that the number that we call and talk to the landlord? No. No operator in the history of laundromats is going to hand you the keys to their store and say, you know what, you're right. This place is worthless. Take it. They might get booted out by the landlord, and eventually we come in and sign a lease. Or when we call, because the place is so absolutely disgusting and horrific, that the landlord says, you know what, I don't want them here any longer. They're month to month, or they've broken the lease, they're late paying, etc. It's very easy to break a commercial lease. Are you taking this old, poor Korean operator and throwing him through the plate glass window? No, you're helping the community by retooling a new laundromat. What happens to that previous operator is not your problem. They've done this to themselves, many times because they bought it. You understand? And I'm not trying to be obtuse. I'm not trying to remove the guilt of this through reasonable bargaining. I'm saying this is the truth. They didn't do it right. They didn't renew their lease. 99% of these laundries, I'm making up numbers, are for sale and they have no lease term remaining. So what the fuck are you supposed to do? Go buy the place, buy the business rights, and then go to that landlord and said, hello, I'm Mr. Danny. I just bought this laundry for $300,000. That was all the money I had. What can I do? You sign a lease with you? You're over a barrel, bent the wrong way now. But that's what you're supposed to do. Letter writing campaigns, emails, help wanted sign. No, the help wanted sign is for the operator. Now there's another layer to this onion. What if the operator is also the landlord? Great. We call them up. If they're making $5,000 a month in that laundromat and working 500 days a week, 34 hours a minute, it's a pretty obvious fix. When you're sick and tired of spending all that time to make $5K, let me know. We send an email, we communicate, we've actually talked to this person, not a fucking letter writing campaign. Farming letters don't work. See if you guys think that your computer glitched. Try not to be an idiot. Farming letters don't work. Do they work on you? No. If you buy any business in rented space, the biggest next hurdle is your signature on a long-term commercial lease. Very, very few exceptions to that rule, like McDonald's. Because McDonald's owns the dirt. Every single time you see a McDonald's franchise, the operator owns really nothing but a right to buy their French fries and salt. And the opportunity to go to Hamburger College. You might hear in the inflection in my voice that I'm not a big fan. There's that word again. Of franchises. Of franchises. We are doing this again and again and again, over and over. And maybe it's my fault that I don't publicize or publish. A lot of the folks don't want to be on the YouTube machine, and that's fine. I must admit, in my experience, the preponderance of the folks that don't want to be on here, don't want to talk about their money they're making, is because they've got ex-girlfriends or former wives and a bunch of chillins running around. Think about it. This is the shit I never thought about. Oh, come on, who cares? Who's going to see you on YouTube? My ex. Got a lot of those stories. There's 50 of you on here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. That's usually how I end these, but we're near the end. Jump in here and give me a question, a real one. Donnie D is back, and that's one of the guys that I had to put in timeout because he's annoying. Who are you really? What's your name? Yeah, that's right. Franchises. Franchises. There's that word again. You're going to get put in timeout, Donnie D. Oh, he says Donnie D, I think, is his name. Oh, all right. Maybe. Ask me anything, kids. What I'd like to know from each and every one of you that's on here, if you don't mind, city and state, where are you calling in from? You're not calling in. Where are you sitting? Where do you live? Where do you reside? Where is your humble abode? And what's your status? Let us all know. I've been watching you on YouTube. That's, I would want to say, status one, right? I've seen the course, which obviously YouTube started that, right? I've got your phone number, Danny. We've consulted. We're working on calling landlords together, right? 4th tier. Or I've got a free store. Thank you, Danny. And I guess maybe a 6th tier, right? We're working on another store. You know who you are. Let's see it. 46 of you on here. Wake up. Try not to be an idiot. You want to hear my impression of that? Try not to be an idiot. All right, I want to see 47 comments now on exactly that. Hi, Danny, are the tariffs affecting equipment pricing? Not yet. And realistically, the tariffs, in my learned monetary opinion, are not going to happen, guys. The markets are fluctuating and the news are talking about it, but they're not going to happen. The goal of the tariffs is reciprocation. The goal of the tariffs is to say, hey, this country has been really over for many, many decades, if not well over a century, by all of these other smaller, weaker countries that just say, well, we're going to tariff the USA. So we are now saying, no, that is not going to happen any longer, period. Level playing field. Why do you think there are no Chevy pick-em-up trucks driving around the European Union? Yet our streets are full of Peugeots and Mercedes, Japanese cars, the same. Do you travel? I can't rent an SUV in Europe, and it's not because the streets are small. They'd love to have big, giant American cars, but it would be cost prohibitive. So you just want a level playing field. So the tariffs, are they affecting? No, they haven't gone into effect. Not affecting anything. We want to get in a trade war with China? We should, because it needs to be level. A thing just came out the other day. The Chinese are revealing now that most of the Hermes and high-end bags and even some Swiss watches, not Rolex, Rolex is made in their own factories, are being made in Chinese factories. They're letting it out. Why do you think those knockoffs are so good? Our minerals are not only being dredged on Chinese territory and brought to the US, but some of our mineral refinements need to be sent over to China to be refined and then sent back here. Why? Because many administrations have made it impossible to do business here because there's no profit in it. Environmental concerns, etc. So what's worse for the environment, digging something out, refining it, and putting it into use, or having a ship send the same thing halfway across the world and back? Don't get me started. I was like many children watching Nova on PBS, and at the end of every episode that they talked about the penguins, there was a tear in my eye because the penguins were all dying. And it's all our fault. Try not to be an idiot. I'm not just a laundry guy. I'm fun to hang out with, and here I've gone on a rant. What'd you ask about? Tariffs. All right. Brandon's from Miami. Rockland, California, says Jason. Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Danny. I'm Joe. I live in central New Jersey. Work in BX St. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Seen the course. So your tier is where you're at, Brandon. St. Louis, Missouri area, technically Illinois. Phone consult client, need to hire you to do my lease negotiations. There you go, Lindsay. What are you doing? And I want to speak to that. I want to say that if you're in that tier and you have my Swaler phone number and you and I can talk, I mean it. Text me if you have questions. Don't be fearful to text me a question. But if you're thinking of really doing this, don't call the landlord yourself. I don't want you to feel them out and it all up, nor do you. That's my impetus for saying, bring me on board early. Bird? Brian, making landlord calls with you. Pardon me. Thank you, Brian. Donnie D, 100% agree with you about the tariffs. Well, thank you. I'm so happy. Your stock just went up. There's that word again. Southern Gold, my freight costs have went up 22%, but they haven't seen any crazy increases. Well, some of us are going to have to tighten the belts and things are going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, how long have I been telling you guys to invest in gold? Ed Springer, I'm tier 3. I have your number, big brother. I joined the live broadcast late. I'll watch it from the beginning later. Thanks, Eddie. Austin, I've watched the course. In case you're just jumping in, I'm asking what tier you're in, guys. Where are you at with Danny? We want to know. Where are you from? I've watched the course multiple times. I'm scouting stores. Good. One day out looking, and you've got multiple locations that we can call on. All you need are shitty laundromats. That's it. It's that simple. And you never know. There's not going to be a sign that says, please take my laundry from me. Here's my landlord's number. You've got to find that information. Tony says, Brown Mills, New Jersey, retired, but I work part-time to pay the plaintiff and do something. I get it. That's terrible. Nobody stays married anymore. Patrick, Los Angeles, we consulted. I'm going to call you at 3 a.m. tomorrow. Don't fuck around, Patrick. Try not to be an idiot. Joe says, seen many how to buy videos. Thank God I found you. Just found you 4 days ago. Should I search the city? BXQ Street. Okay, now I see what you're saying in Jersey or New Jersey-ish. My wife's concern is posts COVID-19, less people are using laundry. Your wife's wrong. Your wife's dead wrong. And by the way, everybody tell Joe what he needs to do now. He's just a YouTube guy. He's watching me on YouTube. Don't go out and look at laundromats because you don't know what you're looking at yet. VVVV, when you retool a decent-sized laundromat, how much more do you pay per month? You say you retool every 7 years. Will the machine be paid off by then? We're not in a hurry to pay off the machines. The fact that I say we retool every 7 years is not a true thing. It's in order to make the landlord understand that we are serious, and that's why we need a 15-year lease. And you are scared shitless to do this. I can tell by your question. You want to know when you're going to pay off the equipment so that you can start making real money. If you pay off the equipment early, you're making a mistake. Oh boy, I could get really deep on this one, VVVV, whatever your name is. What's your real name? VVVV. When you retool a decent-sized laundromat, how much more do you pay per month? It doesn't matter because you've got what you pay and what you profit. That's the only balance that matters. If you buy someone's $300,000 shit-ass laundromat, you will never pay that off. And you'll kid yourself about cash flow and what the cash flow equals. Oh, I'm making cash every month. But you've never paid off the 300. Be realistic. We don't pay the 300. Let me tell you a little story about the world's richest man. Let's just go straight to that. Not me, not my wife and kids, not what I do or how I do it, but the world's richest man. His stocks might change his net worth from $300 billion to $320 billion in a day. I doubt that he even looks, whoever he is. What he should do, and I don't know personally what he does, what he should do, let's say that he needs $300 million to buy an island, okay? What if he pays himself $300 million out of his company in salary? He's going to pay probably 70% tax on that 300 mil. Big fucking pain in the ass. But so what? World's richest man. Richer than Croesus. No. What's a smarter way? Think about this. Does anyone know the answer? He takes his $300 billion in stock and goes to any bank and says, I need to borrow $300 million. What? Now he's borrowing $300 million from the local bank, Wells Fargo, Chase, some guys he smokes cigars with. He's buying his island on credit. How does that make sense? Because he's paying 3% on his money instead of losing 70% if he takes it out on his salary. This is what I mean by generational wealth and monetary intelligence. You're not the world's richest man, though, are you, VVVV? But you need to fucking think like these people do, and there's nothing stopping you. When I was 16-year-old, my uncle Peter Marisi told me, tell them you have 7 dependents. What? FICO tax is a bitch. Say you have 7 dependents. Then they'll never take any money out of your check, and you won't be giving the government a free loan. You've got to think intelligently, and if you can't, hire people to do it. Money well spent. You've heard me say this, guys. The poor spend money. The middle class save it, and the rich invest it. And all of those have caveats. Poor people spend money they don't have. It's called credit. They get their tax refund check and go buy a television that they don't need and can't afford. Only $200 extra needs to go on the credit card after the $1,000 we got back. Meanwhile, they're giving the government a free loan, but I digress. The middle class saved to a fault. How could you save to a fault? Imagine saving $300, $400, $500,000 and never touching it, and then you fucking die. What typically happens? Your kids spend it on skyrockets and drugs. I'm exaggerating. The poor spend money they don't have. The middle class save to a fault. That money could be so much better spent and invested. And you know what's funny about this rainbow? The wealthy invest with money they don't have the same way that the poor spend. Think about it. This is not a financial YouTube channel, but I know this stuff, guys. VVVV. Joe, Bronx, Staten Island, get it. Tier 2, YouTube, course. Just got back from scouting stores. Braulio. I'm going to challenge everyone on here who's a course person. Click the button and let's get on the phone before I start charging more for that. Randy's from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Randy. Washington State, says the keeper. Watch the course, scouting location. So, Carlos, that's absolutely, you're another guy. If you're scouting, tell us, Carlos, you probably saw 10 stores that are ripe for takeover day one. I want more of you doing this, not thinking about it and then putting it in the rearview mirror, because those objects never get close. Tony started the course on 4/1. All right, dude. 21 days later, come on, you should be burnt through it. Randy is saying to the other guy, no store shopping, he means scouting, till you take the course a few times. And that's funny because usually people go back and start it again. Too much of this salesy shit. I'm done with it. Brandon, thank you, Brandon. If your equipment is 0% interest, which we talk about in the course, which you're going to get because it's from the manufacturer, why would you pay it off early? Early termination fees or otherwise, you wouldn't. Joe, buy the course, worth every penny, not a gimmick. Well, thanks, Brian. You know what's funny? I sit here and read these comments, and I don't read ahead. So somebody could say something pretty silly, and I would be like, there's that word again. Anyway, there's no team. I can't be bothered. I can't trust anybody other than Shelley to do the stuff that's important. Thank you, Randy and Brian, says Joe. Danny, you want me to tell my wife she's wrong? No, don't put that shit on me, bro. There's that word again. No, but she is. You know, blaming COVID on this, that, or the other, I am so absolutely disgusted when I hear, then COVID hit. Okay. So what? It's an excuse for people why they did a certain thing when they did it. Carlos says, I do have a few in mind stores. I do need to call you. Dude, those that are on here who have consulted with me, you can tell the others, it's not what you think it is. Again, they send this email, getting to know you. Here's what I'm all about. Here's the stores I've been scouting. We don't even talk about that. We end up talking about you. Me, you kind of know. You, I don't. Whether or not you've got 5 kids, 2 are adopted, you've got a shitty job or a great job that you hate, your wife's tall and ugly, whatever your scenario is, it matters to how you do this. Or short and pretty. Donnie D is getting smarter by the minute. Getting your laundromat for nothing is an instant asset. Yes. Correctamundo. Tony says if the poor spent money investing that they couldn't afford in time, they would not be poor or middle class. Write that shit down. Nicely done, Tony. But that mentality change is exactly someone along your lineage needs to make that change. I did that in my family. I was begging my grandparents to spend $60,000 that they had. We had a little family meeting on gold. My aunt won. Money didn't go into gold. It went to a low interest bearing T-bills. Gold was $600 an ounce then. Yeah, do the math. Somebody probably will do the math. If Lee, how do you deal with a laundromat that does not have a number, just an address? Okay, Lee, are we working together? Because you can text me this information or email it to me. And or guys, once you consult with me, I have a litany of texts I'm going to send you with some private videos. I'm sorry, but it's true. Obviously, it's tiered. There's no way to pay for it. When you consult with me, I send you these videos that drill down on how to locate landlords. Every single building has a landlord, whether it's a real estate investment trust or a guy named Hal. Know that. There is a landlord or a third party or management company that handles the lease. If there's a sign in the common area that says Fred's Realty Co., 800 talk to Fred, you're done. That's all I need. All we need to communicate with them. If I deal with a laundromat that just has an address, I called the city hall. They are giving me the runaround. I'm still looking for more stores. He owns 2, but no number. He has a number. Every 3-year-old on the planet has a phone. I'm not sure if it's Mr. or Mrs. Patra. After the richest man takes the $300 million loan, how does he pay it off? Or does he default on purpose so that the stocks are taken up by the... He pays the loan the same way anyone else would, bro. It's 3% interest versus 70% loss. That's the end of the story. I don't know if you're trying to be cute, but that's kind of a silly question to ask. I'm going to the nth degree talking about the world's richest man. Trust me. A lot of folks that have a few ducats socked away are doing the same thing with everything. There's guilty pleasures. There's shit that you buy that you know you don't need or want. Personally, we all know some of the things that I'm into, but they are assets, the smart ones. Lee, we are. I don't know what you are doing. I just emailed you. Take a look, please. Okay. All right. Personal. Appreciate it. Ralph says, I'm just starting on my laundry journey. Hello, Ralph. Welcome. Wish I knew about Danny earlier. Yes, I have the course. Good. Ralph, one thing. Just tell me one thing for the cheap seats, the folks on here. Tell me one thing that you learned in the silly course that you had no knowledge of. Vivi is named Vincent. He says, thanks for your knowledge. Appreciate it. And then there's a French flag. Randy Miller says, yes. I don't remember the question, Randy. All right, as promised, we're going to talk to some folks here and have real live landlord knockdown dragouts. Ralph, waiting on you. And everybody can say that. Guys, if you're in here and you've seen my silly course, plunk down one thing. And even if you've seen that Randy already wrote that thing, it's okay. One thing that you learned that you had literally no knowledge of. That goes for you, Scott. Randy, that's a little too generic. I don't know what we're just talking. OPM. You know me. If you're on my call sheet for today, let's do it. Let's answer a text quickly, though. That's a consult. So this is an individual who's sending me a question, and he's a consultation call, and he's sending me a question through text, which I appreciate. And if it's something that is a short question that requires a lengthy answer, I will call you. Let's just do that. What do you say?
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
Barely. What are you talking through a can and a string?
I'm on the train. It's all right. It's all right.
The
Wait,
Long
now better?
Island Road, the Long Island Express.
Okay, I took my headset off so it should be
Thank,
easier.
thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I scouted like 17 locations because I'm like hardcore gonna make this work. And I'm definitely gonna hire you to do it for me. So at least 5 of these locations did not have a wash dry fold. So is that a problem or what should I
Absolutely
do?
not. Absolutely not. You have to understand that the criterion, as you call it, our successful future store, we're going to be
Yeah.
fixing those types of things. So if these
Okay.
dipshits are running the store without wash dry fold and therefore with no ability to have a contract attendant, a warm body, a human being in there, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, because that's something that's
Okay.
easily fixed.
Okay.
Easily
You mind?
fixed. When you're looking at the
Okay.
criteria, like none of that stuff is a deal breaker. If all
Okay.
the
Good. I
stuff I
thought it
talk
was.
about, all the indications of failure are good because they're easily changed,
Got
right?
it. And I found another place where it's huge. The place is huge, okay? But they have around 30 washers and like 30 dryers, but that's half the store, and the other half the store is totally dedicated to wash, dry, fold. Is that overkill or is that a
Here's what
problem?
happens when you're working with me, and we're not to that tier yet, right? The moment that you do that, I send you a Google document, I give you tons of
Yeah.
instruction, and I'm going to be looking at the photos. Frankly, thank you for not sending them now because we're not in that tier yet. But when we're doing that, I'm going to look
Yes.
at them. The preponderance of stores like that are half wash, dry, fold, right? We're going to call the
Yeah.
landlord. We're going to negotiate the lease down because say, well, we don't really do that, or you can have that other
Yeah.
space back, or and you don't have you've got the layman's eye. A lot of the washers probably have nothing but a wall on the other side because they've removed those washers easily.
Yeah.
They can be
Yeah.
replaced. So when I look at those photos, I'll be able to glean the information right away and say, we're going to take that from 30 washers easily to 60, or from 60 to
Okay.
120, because it's
Got
very rare to have 50-50 wash, dry, fold, and coin op. Very rare.
it. Okay. Got
But
it.
again,
Last
I'm
question.
happy you texted me because any questions you have, you can text. But I'd say let's get to work.
Yeah, yeah, because you were on a live call. That's why I didn't want to call you because I was listening to
But
the
yet you
last call you were
texted
doing.
me, and now you're on the live call. Congratulations.
That's good. My last
So try not to
question
say
is
shit, fuck, piss, or anything.
I got it. I saw another location where criteria, but the place is packed on a Sunday. I mean, even though the place is falling apart, they have old equipment in the in the driveway
I
in
love
their
it.
parking lot,
I love it. The
and the
place
place
is
is like
packed on
five,
a Sunday because
and the place
those
is
people
falling.
don't have another choice. They go there because they
Mhm.
have to.
Okay, yeah, because the windows are
But
broken, the
your
place is
fear
dirty.
is that they're doing so well that you're not going to be able to scoop it up. That landlord knows that that tenant is a thorn in their side. Make sure you go
Yeah, that
by
was
on a Tuesday.
got it. Okay, yeah, then I found a lot of locations. I couldn't believe I found like 22 locations, and
Bro,
out of that,
bro,
like 7 were perfect.
everyone, by perfect you mean shitty. Everyone,
Yes, yes,
everyone that watches the
yeah,
silly course and goes out and scouts on day one, they say the same thing to me. I can't believe it. Because you think you're looking at some magical, oh, it's got to be New York City, it's got to be Los Angeles, it has to be Florida, it has to be Ottumwa, Iowa. No, these stores are fucked up everywhere. Whether they're for sale doesn't matter to our process. Whether they are packing the place full of people on a Sunday or a Saturday doesn't matter to our process. It's just a fear that you have that, well, they're making money, so they're not going to give it up. They can't help but
yeah.
give it
That
up
that
if they haven't signed a new lease and they have no time remaining. And if they're
yeah,
doing
that was
well
my
and making money, they probably have or they should. And our very phone call might give them the impetus to march into the landlord's office and say, and normally it's the landlord who says, hey, I just got a call from a high roller who wants this place. What are you going to do? That's okay. What did it hurt you? You didn't lose money.
yeah. Sounds good. Okay, I definitely feel a lot better now
Oh,
since you
I'm
called.
so happy. I'm not here to placate you, buddy. I'm here to tell you the goddamn truth. You know that.
Got it. Yeah, I have a list of like 7 places already, so
Let's fucking
we're
go.
almost ready.
Almost
Yeah.
ready.
So
What's your commute?
right now my commute is like 1 hour each way.
Jesus Christ. That's 80 hours a week you're spending on the train.
Yeah, a lot.
My math is not good.
It's not
Try
80
not to
hours,
be
but
an
yeah,
idiot.
I get the idea.
It's not.
Like,
It's not. But you know what's funny, dude? You're going to end up keeping your job once you have 1, 2, 3 stores because it's like the movie Office Space. You'll just go in there and phone everything in. I've seen it many, many times. Again, it's my experience. Fuck it. I got good benefits. I'll sit on the train and deal with my taxes for the laundries. You know,
mhm.
you
Yeah, and I saw.
it's human nature, right? I want this thing so badly, and once you get it, you'll realize that the other thing wasn't so bad, and you're a
Yeah,
smile on your face, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is wrong with him? He's got money in the
yeah,
bank."
yeah, and I also did what you did. When you go into the locations, you actually talk to the people, and I
Yeah,
did, and I found more locations by talking to them, which I would never have found on my own.
I love it. Talking to the
Yeah.
not the workers, not the owner, but the folks that are sitting in there, and it's about the right timing. If you try to talk to somebody when they just walked in with their laundry basket, get out of the way, because they're trying to do a
Yeah, yeah,
chore. But as soon as they put the laundry in the washer, they got nothing to do. They're going to be staring at their phone. And I told you, hey, how you doing? How long you been coming here? Oh, I don't know, 6 months, a year, whatever. It's 2 questions. And where did you used to go? Right? And then they do what? They point. Oh, don't go there.
hmm
Place is a total shithole. I love it. Yeah, you would never think, but they know. They know the area. They know where the horrible laundries are. And they kind of like this one for whatever reason. Even in that bad one, you can say, well, why do you come here? I guarantee all those people say, it's my only option. I wish it was nice, but I'm not going to take 2 trains and a bus and an aircraft carrier to get to another laundry. This is it. It's good enough.
Yep.
All right, good. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks a
Later.
lot. Bye.
Don't hesitate to text me questions. Goodbye. That goes for you punks. Ralph says he learned you don't buy a laundromat. Well, come on, Ralph. Absolutely. Scott says, finish the course scouting now. Good. Other people's money. I learned a lot, knew some. I am a service tech for a distributor. I learned a lot. Okay. I learned a lot. I knew some. I'm a service. Okay, good. So even a service tech for a distributor is learning a lot from a silly course. It means a lot to me. Randy says, learn from the course, keep store bright, clean, no negative signage, position of change machine, etc. Tony, rent abatement. That's a big one, man. That's a big one. That means a lot to me. Tony, folks go out and buy a business because they're good at a thing and they want to remake that business, whether it's a pizzeria or a bead shop, and they know nothing about the rent. So they just listen to the landlord and they sign. And that could be why their pizzeria gets sunk. Ed says, he learned how to properly analyze a laundromat, the points I should pay attention to. For example, the ceiling. I didn't know that before. It's a huge advantage to know. I love it. Inside baseball stuff. Simon's from Austin, Texas. We're working on calling landlords. Hell yeah. Sounds a lot like myself, this client on the phone regarding his commute. That sucks, Ralph. My answer may sound generic, but it's the absolute truth. Oh, that probably is him on the phone. I get it. Dark Defender. Ooh, I like that name. I watched the course only once, I must admit. Definitely like drinking from a fire hose. My concern is I've not been able to find a laundromat closer than an hour away from me. I think this is too far, question mark. Okay, bro, here's the thing about you. Where do you work? And I don't need to see the answer here. This is for the cheap seats. It's for everybody. Do you drive an hour to a job? Once you set up laundromat or laundromats, it sounds like you live in a rural area somewhere. Good for you. I have a penthouse on the beach 3 hours from here. I could be there before sundown if I left right now. I have 150 private acreage, 151 acres, 3 hours in the opposite direction in the hills, 7,400 foot above sea level. It was snowing there this weekend. My daughter and I were there. I could be there in 3 hours before the sun goes down. I could be in Vegas in 3 hours. I'm not going back and forth to any of these places every day, but it's nice to know they are there. So only you can answer that question. If you're in a rural area where the nearest laundry is an hour away, so maybe don't do this. You're never going to hear that from some fucking guru. Maybe don't do this. But if you do, what are the benefits of only driving that hour, one way there and back once a week or so? Because you're not commuting. Does that make sense? Brian calls himself Timber Snow from Nashville. Hi, Brian. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're returning calls. I saw it.
Yo.
Yo, he
Yo.
says, are you
What's up,
aware
Sam?
that you are live on the YouTube machine?
I am not aware.
Well, now you
Well,
are.
hello, community.
I used to, hello, community. That's a weird thing to say. You're a weirdo. Try not to be an idiot. See, that's my button. Now you know.
Damn it.
All right. I don't claim to remember this shit, and you know that, because there's not enough space in my mind for all of this stuff. It also keeps me from losing sleep. Where are we at? What are we doing?
All right. Todd.
No
landlord
addresses,
for...
no cities, none of that kind of stuff. I got your document in front of me.
Sure. Yeah. Billy Bob, he's the landlord for said property we're going to call on. No vacancies. Pretty rough property. There's old couches in there. There's furniture from Facebook Marketplace, probably. He's been ducking us for 6 months.
We've been calling this dude's number for 6 long months with no return phone calls.
Nope.
No attempt to pick up his telephone. And I'm looking at that. Again, for the cheap seats, and again, I appreciate you, Andres, taking the time to talk to some of the folks here. It's frustrating, probably more for me than you, because I'm doing this with clients daily. And it's so difficult to understand. The question, we should make a t-shirt. Why the fuck don't they answer the phone? Well, because they don't have any empty space, number one. And number two, we can't call and say, hello, Billy Bob. Well, it's Todd. Why don't you give me your laundromat? Because now we're doing something so simplistic, which is a text battle. He's going to say, we don't have any space. Yeah, but I want to take over the laundry. I'm good on the phone. You hired me to talk to people. So the only way to do that is to get them on the phone. So here's that out of the way. He just decides to answer the phone the other day, right? And what happened?
Talk to me or call me at 10 is what he said. We were out of pocket with the holiday and all that. So
all right, so we haven't given this guy the whole discussion.
Nope.
Okay.
We have not.
All right, now I'm confused. He emailed you or texted you. He got back with you.
Text.
He didn't get back with me. So you went a little colored out of the lines here and sent the guy a text. Is that the part you're ignoring?
Not ignoring, but yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And for the folks who don't know this, you and I work all the warm, hot leads, if you will, and then I'll sometimes make an effort to look up and follow up with any dead.
Yeah, and the only
leads,
problem
and
with that I have is that now the guy gets confused. They all get confused. It's kind of like, who is this? Who's doing what? And I don't have any respect for somebody that doesn't answer the goddamn phone. All right, so I have the number. He's texting you on the number ending in 32.
Let me check. Yes.
You're not even in the document.
I'm on my phone.
You should have a laptop ready to go at all times.
This is true. Number is ending in 3-2.
All right, good. Let's call him up. So this is still the cold call scenario. Did you go into any of this shit with this guy?
No, negative.
Excellent. Very exciting. Here we go. Stand by.
Mhm.
Now's where you subscribe, you louts. When you hear the phone ring.
It's Todd speaking.
Hey, Todd. Danny D'Angelo, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Never felt better, never had more. I am looking at the laundry is our interest. So I've been doing laundries for 20, 21 years. We go out and we look at these places. We walk in, we normally do a little bit of laundry, right? They're open to the public. And when we see underperforming stores, to put it very politely, I want to reach out to you and find out if and when perhaps maybe we can talk lease terms. You know, the disposition.
It's been
Go ahead.
it's been leased. It's already leased.
I know. I'm aware. Absolutely. Okay. It's a leased laundromat. You have a laundromat operator in place. Understood. So I'm not calling, Todd, to ask you the disposition of the lease. I'm not a salesman. Again, we are local. We've been inside of the store. At the end of the day, hell, let me guess. You don't go to a laundromat every weekend. Your wife doesn't drag your laundry into a laundromat. You know, for middle-class people, we don't. I like to run very good stores. And the way that I do it, the way I proliferate more stores is what I'm doing right now. I reach out to you. I say, hey, when something changes, I'm interested. If they leave, they vacate, they fall apart, they no longer pay their rent. What I see in here is 25-year-old equipment. They've got couches from the dollar store in there for folks to sit on. The ceiling's falling down, which kind of tells me that.
Hey, let me interrupt you. I've had that tenant for 30 plus years. One of the best tenants I've ever had.
Excellent.
I've released it to a new operator, new equipment, blah, blah, blah. So I don't need another operator right now. I'm committed to the new operator right now with the new lease I just signed a couple months ago.
Love it. And I appreciate that. Todd, is this your building? Do you own the building?
I do.
Okay, good. And I could have guessed because you talk. Look, I own a few commercial properties. I don't want you to misunderstand that I'm selling something. I am not.
No,
it's
the laundry business is a unique deal. I mean, you guys are on cahoots together. It's been a pretty amazing process for me.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people are calling me because of the issues that the old tenant was having. You know, word was on the street. And it's an unfortunate, like I said, 30-year tenant, his parents and everyone else. So,
well, I don't know what that.
Time to move on.
Sure, I don't know what in cahoots means, frankly, but. You know, look, when our phone rings, it's somebody selling us something. I'm with you. I don't want to deal with it. But, you know, if this guy doesn't retool.
In cahoots, I just mean it's a small world. A lot of people will call me. You know, lots of people.
Well, I can tell you. Yeah, you have one laundromat under your umbrella. You have one building with one laundromat operator.
No, I have two buildings with two operators.
Okay, and I'll just ask. I don't even know where the other one might be. I'm not asking for addresses or any information. I'm not asking for rent roll information.
Yeah, it's in Denver.
Okay, but that other store is good, and you don't want a good operator spending I didn't even get to the part. I'm going to spend 500, 600 grand without breaking a sweat on equipment. Why do I call you? Why am I interested? Why do you think I'm interested?
Right here, I'll keep your number. You know, like I said, my other location, I do have an operator. He's been there for a while.
Again, Todd, look, I'm not selling anything.
South, I'll let you know.
Why do you think I'm interested in this space? Answer me that one question.
The space isn't available, so it's not even a conversation.
I'm still interested, and we're still
It's not a
talking.
conversation. I am tied to a lease.
I understand that. I've said that. What's frustrating to
So,
me, bro, is that you're not really listening to any. Hey, you're not listening
No,
to
I don't.
anything.
I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to listen to you.
Oh boy!
Period.
When you lose your tenant,
So
you'll want.
your number.
When you
I
lose
won't
your
have-
tenant,
if
you're
I-
going to
if
want
I-
my
if I
number.
future face it.
When you
No, I
lose
don't.
your
Not
tenant,
now. Have a good night.
Oh my God. 6 months we called this guy and he never answered the phone. Did you hear it? Now, I apologize, Andres. I never clicked over and put you in. So you didn't hear that live, but it's on YouTube. He said he evicted his tenant.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, you're not getting the store. I'm a total fucking loser because I'm trying to sell him something. That was the entire gist of it.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the
he's trying to
gist
sell
of
it now.
And you did right. I don't hear anything letting you know. My apologies, but I was kind of excited. No, he started where he ended in the entire conversation by saying, there is nothing to talk about. My tenant, and this is me going from memory. You'll go back and watch this and fill in
Yep.
the notes
Sure.
for us. He started off by saying, I have a tenant. I know. And the problem is, this guy, like many others, doesn't want to listen to someone sell them something. Period. End of story. It is so frustrating because what they want from a tenant is this. Hello? Can you tell me about the laundry business? I want. That's what they want. You think I know it's funny, but I'm not kidding. They don't want savvy business people that understand the lease process. They don't, and they're not used to it, and it jolts them. It scares them. So at some point, I asked him, do you own the building? I didn't. Now, I even gave him a compliment, said, I assumed you did, because of the way that he talks. He didn't have to answer his phones for 6 months, did he? No. We left him a voicemail basically every other week for 6 months, and he never bothered to call me back. So what he said on the phone is, you guys all seem in cahoots together. You know what that means, right? If you're in cahoots.
Mm-hmm.
I told you not to call him. He just said why I tell you and every client not to. He said, I'm getting calls every other day and texts and emails. It's you. It's not this whole conglomeration of people attacking this guy. Then he fucking admits that he evicted. He goes, I've had a 30-year tenant here. And then he said, I evicted him, and now I've got a new guy that's got new equipment. No, he doesn't. The equipment in there is 30 years old. The change machine is out of order. When did you take these pictures?
Recent. Actually, I was just there the other day. Same status.
The claw machine with no toys in it. That's probably being leased by another company. I've noticed there's not one single customer in there. The roof is leaking. He said, now you have to go. I'm not preaching to the choir right now because you didn't hear it, but everybody else on here did. And here's another thing just for the cheap seats. The fact that you were able to get this guy to email you and text you, I don't know what you were saying back and forth or whatever else, but it hurts our process. It doesn't help our process. If you put an ad in the paper to sell a Harley Davidson and you get 25 calls in the first 10 minutes, did you price it right?
This is Bo. I've got the.
Right.
Real question.
Oh.
No. You should probably pull the ad and go back and double the price. When this guy gets 2 phone calls and 2 emails from you, he says, the whole world's in cahoots and wants this place. I must have a real gem. He's a slumlord. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't return his phone calls no matter what, even though I'm ambiguous every single time. And now that we got him on the phone, you scheduled, you moved everything around, and he's all excited to do it. We get him on the telephone, and he doesn't even want to hear what I have to say. He's extremely rude, and that's his right. But I push back. I don't push people over the edge. I just push back. I want to meet in the middle. I want reciprocation with my conversations. I'm going to mirror what they say, how they do it. I'm not going to be pushed around. And a lot of landlords don't like that. They just don't. At the end, he basically said, I wouldn't deal with you as a tenant anyway, in his own way. You'll see. Go look at it. But Point being, the good news, first thing he said was, I got a tenant 30 years. He didn't want to talk to me. But I'm over here speaking eloquently and selling him something. You understand? Fuck you. I've made up my mind.
Yeah.
This guy's a salesman because I'm not tripping over my words, because I'm not wondering how good a laundry is. And I'm very crystal clear in these conversations. I don't want to know about your rent rolls. I don't want to toss out your existing tenant. I can't. Keep an eye on this place, Andres, because this new lease was just signed. We probably missed it in the 6 months we've been trying to reach him. Oh, darn, shucky darns. So what? Couldn't be helped. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate you. Go
Well,
back to work.
Kirill,
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, Kirill, the other landlord, same thing. He reached out. He's the one who wanted the LOI sent to him. This is, and then Todd hit me up literally at the same time. But I don't know if you've wanted to put that on the live here, but I've got a.
I don't,
we got
because I don't
Kirill,
have
who's
any
also standing
information
by.
on it. You know, you've been after me about returning this guy's call, which I'm happy to do. We not only have our day of the week that we make normal calls like all of my clients, but when they return a call, when they get back to me, no matter when, if I'm not off grid, obviously, I don't care if I'm in Europe, I'm going to get you back on and we'll do the thing. Put the information on the other one in there and we'll call him on your day.
Yeah, it's there. It is okay.
Not
Gotcha.
now. Thanks,
All right.
buddy.
Copy it.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Oy vey. Be a great job if it wasn't for the customers, right? That's what they say at Walmart. All right, guys. In all my youthful exuberance, I didn't press the button and connect the client on the call. And what I want you to do in the Google Nader on the document is usually write in big letters, yo, can't hear you, and I'll see it. But whatever. What did you guys hear during that? We're going to do this again. We've sent out a letter of intent with another client. We're going to return a call right now. When that's happening, I want you guys to comment in real time on what you're hearing.
Delilah D'Angelo.
My favorite kid. You're live on YouTube right now.
Hello?
You're live on YouTube right now. Just
Oh,
letting you know. Hi, babe.
Brian had a question.
Well,
Hi,
he's
Mr.
live on
D'Angelo.
YouTube. Hello, Brighton.
Awesome. I was wondering if you could help me and my friends with a viral video.
It's already viral?
No, but it will be viral if you help us.
I don't know about that. I'm not so good at that. Of course I'll help you, man. You made it on
okay,
my
awesome.
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
amazing. I'm so glad. Hello, world.
Okay, love you, bye.
Love you
Everyone.
too, baby. Too funny. That's my 19-year-old and her boyfriend, who's smart enough to call me Mr. D'Angelo, and he's a very good kid. And she sells products and does very, very well because her dad's next to her talking to her about all the business stuff I talk to you guys about and all the stuff that my parents never talked to me about. And the most important thing is that I love you. You know, when you hear that, it just warms your cockles. All right, personal stuff aside. And you guys know that I'm real, that I'm not going to ignore my daughter on a call. She might be on the side of the road and need me to come help her change a tire. This is Nick from Brooklyn. Nick says, is it possible to run a successful laundry and not offer wash, dry, fold service? Nick, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make money from wash, dry, fold. Nick, I know that you haven't seen the course because we use the wash, dry, fold, no secret, to bring warm bodies into the location. Get the silly ass course. I'm not going to sell you guys anything. People hate salesmen. I hate salesmen. I'm telling you, if you want to answer all these, and I'm not going to say, oh, the answer's in there. That's shitty. I see people do that. They go on Facebook and say, I've got this course. Put Laundromat in the comments if you want to know about it. And then Laundromat, and automatically it pops up. Here's the link. What? How about ask me a question like I'm doing? I'll give you the answer. And then the caveat is I already answered it. Sammy says it's me, Sam from Massachusetts. Been a while. I've missed your live calls, but I'm back. Hopefully it's not too late, but I'm watching your replays and still watching your laundromat streaming. Sammy, I don't know what you mean by too late. Let's get after it, bro. This is the same shit and it works everywhere. Say, Danny, I wonder if you ever negotiated a lease for a client, a location that you previously had negotiated for another client. So, having been doing this for 20 years, I have never done that except for one of my stores that fell apart. So that's about as close as you can get. Guys, we're not a big community here. The pieces of shit who sell laundromats every single day and roll around and say, here's what the equipment costs. This is what you're going to pay no matter what. It's 30% down and 8% interest. Those people are the preponderance of the ones that get people like you into this. You get that? Buying fake followers and bots when they have YouTube channels. It's disgusting. You can see through it. Oh, 6,000 people watched this. No, they didn't. It's unwatchable content. Dionysus Cryonesis, love your work, Danny. I know you just said that so you'd get me to say your name funny. Simone. Thank you, Simone. Simone learned that you never buy a laundromat or any business that's in leased space. Ceiling leaks are an indication of failure. Don't hire hourly employees. Listen to all this. The stuff that I knew I didn't want to do if I ever got into this is the stuff that I'm teaching, preaching, and people are becoming successful through. None of it's a secret. Is retooling usually the main issue of zombie mats? I want to say absolutely, it's 98%, but the other 98%, try not to be an idiot, is everything else. The other 98% is all of the things that they never did. Advertising, come on. Tell me a business you're going to run with no advertising, without putting a free telephone into, a $38 telephone where you get all the free ads. All this is in my silly course. 98% of the operating laundry is that interface with the equipment, and the other 98% is everything else that they're no longer doing because fuck it, this is all it's going to make, or because fuck it. The call we just made, that guy bought the laundromat from the guy that he just evicted. You heard him say it. Guys are in cahoots together. I'm sick and tired about hearing all the people. One guy calls about your Harley in the first 4 days, you sell it to him. 10 people call in the first 10 minutes, you priced it wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't call landlords and try to suss your way through this shit. I'm saying if you're thinking of bringing me on board, please don't do it yourself. Because there's the exact psychology unfolding right in this very phone call live. Oh, man. So many people coming at me from every direction. Please. Sam says you skipped me. No, I didn't. I didn't. I have a laundromat and want to improve the sale. I did. I'm sorry. I saw two Sams. Wanting to improve the sales by having more customers. What is the best way to go? This is going to sound kind of shitty, Sam, but have you seen the course? To get my personal help on that store, I want you to watch the course and figure out any of that stuff that you're not doing. So my question is, have you seen it? Dark Defender says, dude, the part about not paying employees and still having people in your store 10 hours a day was genius, and it still is. Dumb question, do you ever retain equipment that runs fine? Absolutely. Your distributors are all going to bombard you in your new signed lease, and you're going to say the same thing to every one of them. Hip, Speed Queen, Wascomat, ADC, Dexter, Continental, Gerbeau, Maytag, stores you've heard of and equipment you have and you haven't. You're going to say, How much to replace all this shit? And the good distributors say, not only replace it, we'll fix all this stuff for you for next to nothing. So you can maintain some profit while you're in your abatement period and prior to the retool. They always say that. And that's part of how you know they're the good ones. And maybe they're trying to get your business that way, and that's okay. Donnie D says, do you sublease to wash dry full workers? You're clueless, dude. You have not seen the course, because if you did, you'd know how we do it. And that secret is not a secret, but I don't like you. And I know by the question that even though you've been on this channel jumping on and asking questions for so long, oh, wait, don't tell him that. You've been better today. Sam says, yes, he's seen the course. Sam, smash the button. Let's get on a phone call. And Sam, I want to say to you, there's a million ways to bolster your business and make more money. And if you've seen the course, here's my question. Have you done everything that I told you to do when you're operating? Probably not, I'm guessing, because you've been running a store before you found me and you sort of think, well, that won't work here. Gird your loins, because if we get on the phone, I'm going to give you a lot of shit about the stuff you have not changed. Don't spend any money. If you've seen the course, change what you have to that I told you already for your sake and your customer's sake and your future profit's sake. If you haven't done those things, do it. If you're in a hurry and a rush to get things turned around, smash the consult button in the course. That's sort of what I've been preaching here for a lot of you folks. And here is Sam raising his hand and saying, I really need to make more money. What's a couple dollars to get me on your side, to have my cell phone number, so that a week, a month, a year from now, you're rolling around and you say, shit, I wonder what Danny would do. Text me. Andres, if you're on the live and you've already seen that little 5-minute call with that dude, I'd love to hear you jump into the chat and tell us what you think. Sam says, yes, he saw the course, I think. He says, okay, Sam, I don't know what that means, you think. Woo! Shot out of a cannon. You guys just dragging me down. Yeah, a worker will do the bare minimum for minimum wage. A contract tenant owns their own business, and their success is based on their efforts and time in the laundromat. For some of you that know, Wade is our friendly neighbor to the north up in Canada, who's done his free laundromat and is getting tons of awards and doing stuff and things. And I got to get my ass up there and make a video with him. That's sort of the thing of my complacency about this stuff. I'd rather go to a Formula One race or blow shit up on my property. And, you know, there's a lot of douchebags that are on the YouTubeinator who are saying, give me your money. Give me your money. I have this great course. I don't do that. I let you guys do that. Hi, Danny asks Thomas, if in an area that has a laundromat that doesn't support 24-hour store, then what? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it support? Because there's nobody coming in. So what? Leave the lights on. You're scared shitless that someone's going to come in poopy in a machine, or your electric bill's going to be higher. Turning old T8 lights on and off one time a day wastes more electricity than leaving them on all night. Stop being fearful of that. You're correct, Donnie. Contract workers are not the same as employees. Absolutely. I don't know if that's a question without a question mark, but yes. Now he's thanking Wade for answering his questions on here. I'm not the only expert. Regarding attendance, I know you say never have more than one attendant competing with each other in the wash dry fold, but how do you ensure the attendant is in the store during the hours you want? Well, you get rid of them if they're not. And what I mean by not more than one entity. You can't have a little old lady and a little old man as your wash dry fold attendants, because they're going to end up in clashing. And this clash of the titans is because the little old lady works every Sunday and makes more money than the little old man who works 6 other days a week and can't seem to make any money. So if they're married, and I'm not saying that you need to put these two together, but if the little old man and the little old lady are found that way and they live in a trailer park 5 feet away and they're married, great. He can come in 4 days a week, she can come in 5. And together it makes 7. There's that word again. And at the end of the day, that's an entity. a married couple, a mother and her slightly unintellectual son. I can't say I've seen or done it all. Someone who's on the government dole, right? Not your business. Someone who is bound never to have a regular old job can do this thing and is thrilled about starting at $300 or $400 a month and building on that and becoming an entrepreneur. That's how we do it. Again, you guys know this is all in the course. Sam did see the course, of course. Clean, working machines, flags outside. Yeah, understood, says Tom. I don't even know what I said. All right, now the X is for really. And let's get another landlord on the phone. We sent an LOI. Eric is our client.
Hey, Danny, how's it going?
Why do you have that big, stupid grin on your face like that?
You can see me now?
I can tell that you know you're on the YouTube, so you're like, right?
Yeah, I never miss your silly little t-shirts.
Oh, boy. You need to let that shit go, says Buddha. All right, pretend like there is no YouTube because it's not really that big a deal. Tell me what, did you hear the first call? That was fun.
Yeah, I think I caught like the second half of it.
Yeah. That guy was just a total dick, you know. Oh, I've 30 years I've had this excellent tenant. And then 5 seconds later, he evicted him. He sold his business. Okay, dude. I swear. All right. What's the nickname of the store we're looking for?
Right here at the very top, operator is defaulting.
Okay, got it. And mostly for me, forget about the people listening. What have we done here?
All right, so long story short.
Brief, you know, give us the brief.
Yeah, we scouted this laundromat a year ago. Jason, our guy here, the leasing agent, he said that this place had 10 years left, so we left it at that. 1 year later, he comes and texts us saying, hey, this location underwent new operator. He's not a good operator. Are you interested?
Oopsie.
You guys kind of went, yeah. You guys kind of went back and forth on the pricing. He said one thing via text. We called him, I believe, 2 weeks ago. That's when he said, actually, he told us that this operator has 2 laundromat locations. And so him and the landlord is offering us both locations if we are interested. And then he gave us the email laterwards. I scouted that second location. It is a laundromat. It is an all-card store. It looks like they have some employees there too, doing some wash, dry, fold, etc. So we know that both locations are laundromats. They are operational. This current operator is, from what we learned, he's actually a former laundromat employee who acquired the business in some way. And now he's defaulting. So that creates opportunity for us. You and I connected again last week on Tuesday. You said we did not need to call Jason again because he laid out his terms in the email. So we fired off an LOI on Wednesday. We asked for $10 a square foot for both locations. Jason replied Thursday. He actually tried to call me via my cell phone. I did not pick up. He left a voicemail saying, he left a voicemail saying, hey, I got some questions on the LOI. Reach out to me when you get a chance.
I'm not saying that it's a good cop, bad cop, where they're only reaching out to you, even though they know I'm the one that's working on the lease. But, I give people credit. I always do. I don't think anybody's dumb because they mispronounce 1 or 2 words. I don't think that this guy's trying to shiest us because he's calling you and not me. I just give them until they prove me wrong. I give people enough rope to hang themselves or build a hammock. And so I don't get upset that he's calling you, but many times it's because he'd rather talk to you than some guy that he's now aware, because the LOI doesn't have my name on it, that you're the pigeon and I'm just the lion tamer. All right. I know that doesn't make sense. So we're just going to
Yeah.
call him up and he's got questions about the LOI. It's probably standard shit, whether or not I think you put, 80 cents a square foot. And I told you to change it to 10, but you never know. It could be pretty basic queries and whether or
Yeah,
not,
on his the last time he reached out was Friday. He sent an email saying, "Would you guys use any of the existing equipment if we could offer it to you?"
yeah. And that's probably him trying to sell it, but I don't know. None of it matters. I don't need to know what he's going to ask me in order to talk to the guy. Let's call
Yeah.
his fruity ass up and see what's what. And, again,
All right.
the thing about this is if we call, I think you asked me, oh, we're going to call him tomorrow being Sunday, being Easter, is like the last thing you want to do is call one of these. It shows such total desperation. I'm not saying on your part,
So
but on anybody's part is like,
yeah,
oh,
so that text I actually sent you on Thursday. I think because you were off
okay.
grid, you didn't get
Yeah,
everything until later.
I was, when I say off grid, it's really, really off grid. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't think you would just call the guy on Easter Sunday. Hey, all right, let's call him up and just ask what his
Okay.
questions are. And I could pull the LOI up. Let me do that first. I'll find the email where you sent it to me so I have it in front of me. Here we go. You got a new email address?
Yeah, I think I emailed it to you. Yeah, to replace my old one with that new one.
All right, I've got it in front of me. Let's call him up. Stand by. Subscribe. It's live.
This is Jason.
Jason, Danny D, you've got questions about the LOI. We've got answers.
Sorry, one second.
Sure.
All right. It's that time around the household here.
You don't need to beat the kids back. I don't mind it.
Oh, good. They know the drill at this point.
Nice.
Yeah. So, the landlord wanted. I mean, what are you guys? Are you going to be using the existing equipment in these two locations?
Yeah, let me tell you what we typically do. And then I'll ask you why you asked. We're going to bring the distributor. We don't want it. It's all junk. Unless there is, a 57 Chevy, you don't throw it away when the transmission goes bad. You fix the transmission. It's a piece of art. There's really no art in laundromats. There are some older pieces of equipment that can be limped along, but that's why these people fail. So it is our goal to retool. Now, if we bring in a Maytag distributor and they say, oh man, I know this store, I'm going to give you the best quote I can, and I want you to retool through us, because I don't care if it's Hips or Speed Queen, Wascomat, ADC companies you haven't heard of, or Maytag. And they say, you know what, let us fix all of the equipment in here, and that'll be a couple bucks. It's not going to be a couple $100,000. And then we can operate, open the store, or leave it open and keep the goodwill, depending. So we do that. But again, why do you ask? It usually has to do with your tenant.
Well, the landlord wants to know. Yeah, I mean, they want to know why you guys. It's such a heavy. Well, you think you guys need such a heavy TI. I think you said 1.2 million, and that's probably why you're asking for such a big free rent period.
Yeah. We are absolutely, great question. We are not going to limp that equipment along. That is a recipe for disaster. And frankly, I'll ask you instead of tell you, why do you think we're interested in these locations?
Locations are good. They're just underperforming stores, but
I love
tell
that
me.
because you are a realtor and it's always the 3-word answer: location, location, location. We're interested in infrastructure. The gas, water, electric, the EPA fees have been paid, frankly, which are killers, and cards on the table. The location,
Yeah.
a laundromat can survive in the 3rd row behind the smoke shop with a tree covering the sign. It can survive. Why? Because the folks that go there, know where it is, and they're going to tell the other guys in the apartment complex when they move in where it is. Now, do I want to survive?
Yeah.
No, I want to fucking thrive. I don't want to survive. And we do that with new equipment every 7 years, a retool.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to get a little bit more context here.
Sure.
Okay, so let me kind of speak with them tomorrow, and I'll get you guys.
And
Get
Jason,
you guys some more feedback.
You've got my number. You can send me a text anytime. And if you even want to get the landlords or the powers that be on a conference call, I'm happy to talk to them, and I won't even say curse words.
Okay.
Up to you.
And who signs the lease? Who's the guarantor?
Eric is the
Who's
guarantor.
particular person?
I'm more of a mouthpiece.
Eric's
your guarantor, and he's
Eric's
solid.
the guarantor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you had like 30 locations around Chicago. Is that right?
Chicagoland.
Yep.
I sent you an email, didn't I?
I don't think I have anything
let me
more than
send
that
you.
lot.
Okay, let me send you an email with like an introduction and before and after pictures of our stores and all that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Good.
Perfect.
I know what you're doing, dude.
Okay.
You're our mouthpiece, so I get it. I know how it works. I'm
working. I'm trying to make it more palatable for them. So
Understood.
I gotta bring in the facts.
Look, let me say this, because you're going to go in and sort of use my words to help all of our case. Laundromats have this bad sort of, taste in the mouth of the landlords because they've got this bad rap because of the poor operators. Number one, they buy the business. Now you're $300,000 behind the eight ball because you bought someone's business. Then you go to the landlord and ask for a lease. They've probably dealt with this because you've got at least 2 of these stores under your umbrella, and they can never make money. And so they're a pain in your ass because they never call you when the roof leaks. They never tell you when the glass breaks on the front of the store. They never fix it. You know what I mean. We are not that.
Yeah.
Like anything else, I don't give a shit about a chicken sandwich, but I'll walk over glass to go to Chick-fil-A, right? I mean, it's just a weird thing. They do it right. And we do laundries right. That's all. And it's a great business. And, we're not giving you a king's ransom for the rent because it is a laundry and because our debt service is so massive. I don't know of another business where the debt service is so big. And every 7 years, we're renewing that equipment so we can keep it nice.
You're renewing.
Oh, we have one retool planned.
You're renewing.
You're
renewing the equipment?
We have one retool planned in every 15-year lease. It's planned in. It's baked into the cake.
Yeah.
We're doing this twice.
But you could just repair it, or you sometimes
no,
new
a retool. Yeah, that's part of our plan. So we need at least 15 years for that reason, because look, it's like anything. An Uber shows up and it's an 87 Toyota Corolla. You're pissed. You're like, you're still going to get where you're going, but it's not nice. It's smelly. Yeah. It's an old car. It's got 300,000 miles on it. In order to run an Uber, you need a new car. And in order to run a good, decent laundromat, when our warranty runs out, ironically, after 7 years, our equipment is paid off. Great. You're supposed to be in the pudding at that point. But in a good working laundry where the equipment gets paid off is also the time when it's no longer viable because it's got the mileage, right? What if the store never gets used? Oh, my equipment's beautiful and nice, but it never made you any money. So it's a catch-22. And frankly, after that 7 years, that's also where our tax benefits from the depreciation on the equipment run out. So it's all figured out, all planned in.
Yeah.
We don't want to be a pain in your neck. We want to pay the rent and leave you the hell alone.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm just got to try to balance, because it's like you said, it's not a high rent offer. And so, can only get so much free rent.
And we appreciate your working for us and with us. And if you have any questions, God knows I'm no lease expert, but when it comes to talking about laundromats, I'll chew your ear off. I'll bore you to tears. Good. Let us know what you find out.
I will. Okay, thanks.
Take care of the kids. Thanks, bud.
I will. Bye.
Well, what a very, very different call versus that first guy, right?
Yeah, this guy loves you, man. He has your phone saved. He answers your phone when he's fighting off his little baby kids, all that good stuff.
Well, dude, you know what? I do this a lot. I have and maybe it's to my detriment where I like to publish and have my editors publish the knockdown dragouts and the fights. Like, I'm going to get a lot more views and excitement, and I would much rather watch the first guy on this call than this guy. Right? I mean, it's boring. It's
Yeah.
it's a dichotomy of what's exciting and entertaining, and I totally agree with it. You know, if your parrot is just sitting on your shoulder, that's not going to go viral. If it takes a giant shit down the front of your shirt and you happen to be wearing a bikini, and I don't mean you or me, wow, I got to show this to my friends. And at the end of the day, the boring lease deals that I'm doing almost on the daily are just that. They're just boring because you can hear in the inflection in his voice and his ability to talk to us after hours and everything else. This is all very, very common. And I know the system, and he's really trying to gather information so he can make this work with the landlord. And that's why I always say, hey, if you want me to talk to him, I'll do that. I won't curse, you know, it's kind of a funny thing. But anyway, I don't get excited till it's time, and that time is when you sign on the line and it gets did. I'm going to go send him the canned email. If he reaches out
Perfect.
to you,
Yeah, I think you
ignore him. Just let me know.
all right, will do.
What else? What do you want to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think you did send him a canned email already. I think like 2 weeks ago or a week or something
If
like
you can
that.
find that, maybe he didn't open it, just let me know. Send me an email and let me know, hey, here it is. You already sent it. Be careful that you don't send it to him.
So
I'm
yeah,
not
that
gonna-
canned email, you actually didn't copy me in it, but I know that you sent it because you texted me his reply that he gave to you in that email.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So he got an email. Can you stay on for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Just bullshit with the people on here. Been on this friggin' live for almost 2 hours. This is a record. Wade from Canada says, we're talking about contract employees. You're giving them the business, the ability to use the laundromat as their base of operations. You pay for advertising and cleaning supplies. In return, they keep it clean and keep it running. Donnie D, whoever that is. Matt says, before I found your page, I was looking at Jordan Berry, never heard of him, from Laundromat Resource, who he pushes to buy laundromats, which didn't make sense to me since it's leased space. Your methods make much more sense. Well, thank you, Matt. There are a lot of people out there that want you to do the normal thing. And if you click on someone like that's website, find out what they do. Find out if they are a business broker. Hint, hint. Thanks, Wade, says Jason. I know, Wade, you're awesome. Wade, don't you have things to do? Good God. Mr. Phuket, if you were able to do the entire laundromat thing again, would you do it differently apart from not buying your first one? No. And that sort of speaks to me. I don't that's if you win the lottery question, right? It's not going to happen. I don't play the lottery. It's silly. And that's something that I wouldn't say if I were to do it again. Now, would I change anything? Of course. Because what if I could go back to high school and be 17 again? Come on. Remember those really hot girls who kind of had a bad reputation? I don't mean it that way. I don't mean it that way. God damn it. You're supposed to be laughing, Eric. I'm trying to make a joke. Okay. Those calls were a world apart, says Brandon. I know, right? The very, very moment that landlord number one loses that tenant, and he will lose them if they don't retool, he's going to be in the same boat as this guy, who, by the way, look at the similarities. Eric, we talked to this guy 12 months ago, and he said, I've got a 10-year lease. I'm good. Did I freak out, call him a butthole, hang up on him? No. I said, let me send you an email. When something changes, let us know. You kept an eye on it and found out that they fucking failed. Why? Because they bought it. I'm sorry. I've been doing this a long time. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. If guy number one ends up retooling, then he'll do well. If he doesn't, he won't.
Yeah, I think when we talked about this site, you said that it's very common that a laundromat employee cannot afford to own a laundromat business, but it's actually more common that maybe the guy who previously owned these businesses might have been from out of the country. Maybe he went back to Paraguay, gave this guy the keys, said, hey, try your best at it with the rent, see if you can do it.
Yeah. Good point. And I even took over 2 of my locations with separate entities who the operator was a former under the table employee. 2. One of them I showed up and the guy was like rollerblading in there. He had everything but the emergency lights off. I went into the neighboring suite, which was a dentist's office, and I chatted up the girl in there and I said, "What's going on over here?" She's like, "I have no idea. We hear pounding in there. There's weird noises coming through the walls, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "You know what? I have to give her something in order for her to call me, right? This is like the old PI days. You walk in, $20 for some information, make it 40. You know, there has to be a reciprocation." So I said, "What's your biggest issue with the laundry?" And she said, "My car gets dinged all the time, all the time." And I look out there and there's this little white BMW. And I said, "Well, I can help you with that. You come in here twice a day, maybe 3 times if you go to lunch. Park 100 yards over there on the edge of the parking lot. Laundry customers don't care. They drive jalopies. They're swinging and slinging shit around in kids and laundry carts. You're always going to get dinged up." It's like, "Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree." So I gave her a favor. And then I said, "By the way, ring me when something goes here. Ring me when they close the doors." And I don't know, I don't really remember, a couple months later, maybe, probably a couple weeks, she called me, reminded me I work in the dentist's office. "Yeah, that guy has shut the doors and he's got a saw running in there. He was cutting the copper out of the place." The straw purchaser guy was cutting the copper out of the place and he'd fallen through the bathroom roof trying to do so. Let's just say crackhead. All right, a couple more questions, and we're going to go for the record of a 2-hour live here, for God's sakes. Those calls were a world apart. Wow, an actual decent agent. Yes, true. Most of the mats I'm bumping into are looking pretty decent with only maybe a single thing wrong that I can find. 1 broken machine or 1 broken tile. So, Ralph, you tell him, Eric, what's he doing wrong if he's finding decent stores?
If you're finding decent stores, chances are you're probably looking on Google, which is what I kind of did at first too.
There you go.
One of the best ways that I
There's
learned
that
from
word
Danny,
again. Google.
one of the best ways that we did was me and my wife went into one of these that we thought was bad on Google. It turned out to be pretty decent, but we talked to one of the older Hispanic ladies that's she's a customer there, and we said, "Hey, do you come here often? How long have you been here?" She's like, yeah, I've been here maybe like a year or so. We're doing
She didn't
this.
think
Like,
you were
"Okay."
swingers?
No, no, nothing like that. But maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, we just talked her up, and we're like, "Yeah, so where did you used to go?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, there's this bad one like just down the street over here this way. You can turn to the right. It's like there's this little shithole over there. I used to go there, but I don't go there no more. Even though the prices are cheap, I like this one because it's clean."
Love it.
And so, we go to that one, but I don't think it met the criteria because it was too small or something.
Yeah.
But that's one of the good ways that we used to go to for finding laundromats.
Thank you, Eric. You're amazing. All right, dude. I appreciate you, and I thanks for staying on with us. I'm not going anywhere though, because I just got a text from the last call that I forgot to put through, and so we're gonna call Andres back and find out what he says. He sent me a text. Thanks, Eric. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man, get that 2-hour record.
Bye. I got a text from Andres. He said, "I just saw it. What a buffoon." Let's see if he's available. You don't need to answer the phone if you're doing something, man.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
What a guy.
He was, look, if you open your front door and there's some kid there with a tablet who's telling you, "Hey, I'm working with all your neighbors washing their windows," it's your fault for opening the door. Give the kid a little credit. Listen to his spiel. Find out what he's actually all about, right? And either slam the door in his face or tell him you wish him luck and you don't need him. But at the end of the day, this guy, complete and utter moron, that we're finally able to get on the telephone. And again, he doesn't have to answer the door. He doesn't have to pick up the phone. But when he does, did you hear the bullshit? "Oh, I've had this tenant for 30 years. He's the greatest. He's just trying to get me off the phone." And then minutes later, he says, "I evicted him." Or did the new guy
Right.
buy it? Which is it? That's his business. But if any of that stuff is true, the one thing that's not true is that this new tenant put in, he said past tense, he put in new equipment. No, he didn't.
Right.
No, he didn't. He might have changed something. He might have put in used equipment, which is not the way that you do this. It's absolutely not. Everyone that comes in is going to have a broken ass piece of machine, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. 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 It still looks just as bad as when I sent you those original images. It's still got all the
Same
out
equipment.
of order signs. Yep.
So here we've got a landlord that maybe this new guy said, oh, I'm going to retool it. And he just assumes that he did. He doesn't even go there.
Right.
Good for him. All right, we just hit 2 hours. Congratulations, being part of my longest live ever. Woo woo. I'm going to go light a cigar.
Sweet.
All right, man. Update the document
Enjoy, Dave.
later.
Will
Thanks
do.
for the call. Couple more queries here so we get over the line. Dark Defender, what's your actual name? After I watch the course again, would you help me search for a lease to own a property that's currently listed for sale, unless you think that's dumb? No, that's not dumb. Our criterion for calling landlords is a shitty laundromat. If it happens to be for sale, that's just another indication of its failure. Guys, I'm constantly beating my head against a wall about that thing. There's that word again. Just because it's for sale doesn't mean that we can't scoop it up. I've done that dozens, if not hundreds of times through you guys. That's just an indication of its failure. Who sells a successful cash business? Oh, and then he goes on to say the property's been listed for sale for a long time. Well, it ain't a bargain. Shannon says kindly, I love these live videos, enjoying the course, 2 question marks. Thank you, Danny. Well, you're welcome, Shannon. Thank you. When will we talk? This is the point for all of you. I've got time today. The next one that signs up for a consult, we'll talk today. I'll light my cigar and we will talk. So get off your hump. Go into the course and click the button. Could be you, Shannon. Lucas, hey, Danny, I'm grateful to catch a live. You and your videos are badass. Have a great day, brother. Grabbing the air horn on the highway in your honor. Oh, shit, yeah. I love it. We need to work together so I can hear that. Probably an OTR truck driver. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for all you do. After watching the course at time 3 again, would you be willing to help me negotiate a lease to own a laundromat with real estate combo listing that has been for sale for a long time in the hood? Well, you just add, of course. Yeah, I charge for that. I'm not going to be doing you any favors. I charge a couple bucks, and we can do all that. I will negotiate for the real estate with you, sure. Woohoo, says Randy. Clay is Dark Defender's name. I won't remember that next time, Clay, Dark Defender, Clay. So just put your name in there first. Sorry, thought you missed my first message. Didn't mean to repeat the same question. No, I said both of them. Go enjoy Monte Cristo. Hell yeah, Noah. You're a badass. All right, 2 minutes over the line. I want you guys to do me a favor. If you enjoy this kind of if you enjoy this type of, try not to be an idiot. If you enjoy this type of video, like people say over and over again, you know what I'm going to say. I don't do that shit. You'll subscribe. You'll subscribe because you're selfish, because you won't miss these videos. So do that for you, not for me. Don't do me any favors. What I want you to do for me is an inside joke for everyone. Once I burn this down, I want all 50 of you to go over to the regular comments in the regular video, not the live chat, and comment about the difference between something. Either these landlords, how different the dichotomy is with them, the difference between your right and left eyebrow, your left and right ball, I don't know. Your wife's I don't know. Comment about the differences. And it will mean the world to me, because I like to do inside jokes on folks. And when they start watching this video, they'll be like, what are all these comments about? There's that word again. You've witnessed one landlord who has his head up his ass and one landlord's agent who's about to hand off 2 free laundromats. That's what I saw. Will I be talking to one of you and giving out my cell phone right now? Let's find out. Ciao.